the grand finale of the yearling sale season. 2 catalogs offering quality yearlings by the nation's top sires. A sale that has produced scary good results, with 5 Breeders' Cup wins in the last 3 years. Recent grads include Eclipse Champion and Horse of the Year, Thorpedo Anna, Eclipse Champion, Soul of an Angel, and many more of the sport's current stars. The Fasig-Tipton, Kentucky October Yearling Sale, October 20th through 23rd in Lexington, Kentucky. Where will you be?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Horse Races Now podcast. We got a couple special guests in the studio this morning. Kenny, welcome back.
Thanks.
It's been a minute, man. We've gone, I don't know, is it 4 episodes now without you on air? It's felt different.
How'd it go with the guests?
Really, really well.
Good.
And I think our listeners really valued it. However, all the comments are like, this is great. When's Kenny coming back? This is great. When's Kenny coming back? So right. I tell you what, though, Brendan Walsh owes you a huge thank you, because ever since he's done our podcast, he has been on a heater. So, yeah, I think that just set him off to where...
He's a good man.
He is a good trainer.
Yeah, he is a very good trainer.
And if our listeners were paying attention, I asked him at the very end, I said, Brendan, give us a horse that's going to win. And he gave us a horse at the very, very end. He said, hey, this particular horse, I'm blanking on the name for the second, but she's going to win. She's a great filly. She's nice. She's winning next time out. Sure enough, she goes out and wins. Awesome. So if you're paying attention, you're making money.
He's got a lot of good horses. He works very hard. He's got a really good team of people. Yeah.
He's doing well at Keeneland right now. Yeah. He's killing it.
Yeah. Yeah, unlike us.
Well, we're going to get into that. I mean, Kenny, there's a lot we got to kind of touch on here. First, let's start with the biggest, obviously, probably a big disappointment. Let's start with Thorpedo Anna.
Well, she came out of the race fine.
That's good.
Yeah, well, listen, it's been 2 fantastic years, and these things don't last forever.
Yeah.
I think definitely more mentally than physically. I think she's just had enough. She didn't hit her leads right the other day, and it just looked to me like she was a bit struggling. And when they gathered around her in the middle of the turn, she threw the towel in.
Yeah.
And somebody said, "Oh, she bled." No, she did not bleed.
Okay, that's great.
No, that's not issue. We've checked her all 4. Dr. Landry looked at her yesterday. Dr. Bramlage was looking at her today.
Mm-hmm.
But look, very, very good possibility that we'll officially announce her retirement here soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be surprised if that changed otherwise. And, look, I've used the analogy many times. Racing horses is kind of like surfing. And you're trying to catch this huge wave, and we've been on a huge wave. But they all come to shore.
Yeah.
And so that's just the way it is. I'm not going to deny it. It's a little depressing.
Yeah.
In the sense it's been a bit of a rough week, in the sense that, you realize that, and that's why you got to appreciate those moments.
Amen.
When you're on it. But look, I think it's reasonable to say that the ride's over, and she's just been incredible, and $5,400,000,
unbelievable,
$40,000 yearling,
unbelievable,
and I think she won 10 graded stake races in her career.
Yeah,
and those are few and far between. So we will relish those moments that we had with her, and we look forward to digging in and finding other good horses for people like our good clients that we have. So it is a somewhat of a it's a sad moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she's not injured.
Right.
There's nothing that seems to be. But as a mare, I think she just said, okay, I think I've done what I needed to do, and we're not going to force anything here. There's no idea to even bring her back for the Breeders' Cup, and be very surprised if she's even in training. Well, her last day at Keeneland was this morning.
Okay.
And we moved her to Rood and Riddle, let Dr. Bramlage dot some I's and cross some T's, and then we will, figure out her future with John Sakura.
All right. So we had a very avid listener make this comment, and they want me to ask you if this makes any sense. Kenny needs to understand that Thorpedo Anna did not run well because she knew that Brian was not on top of her. Pratt's a great jockey, but the relationship between Anna and Brian goes well beyond the norm. There's a lot more to this, talking about health and everything else. But my question is here: do you think it made a difference, Brian, not being the jockey?
Well, I do think horses know. I do think she knew that Brian wasn't up. I'm not going to use it as I'm not going to use Flavian Pratt as an excuse for her running poorly. That's not. I don't think that's reasonable. I usually don't like to blame jockeys.
Sure.
But would she know? Yeah, I think she would know. But she got off on the wrong lead, and is that Flavian Pratt's job? Somewhat.
Yeah.
But if she broke on the wrong lead, she probably did it because she might have been protecting something somewhere.
Got it.
She's had the smallest history of a little bit of a little puff in the left ankle, but
Right.
it X-rays clean. But no, I'm not going to blame Flavian. I mean, she's had a long career, and she's run against the best. And her last race, she had to fight to win that. And then one thing that I'll say that we started to kind of question, she worked against Mystic Dan a couple of weeks before this race, and she's typically had him.
Oh yeah,
I say kind of owned.
If nothing else, they were nose to nose.
Kind of owned him in the morning, and she didn't this last workout, and Robbie was on her, and Robbie was on Mystic Dan, and Robbie said, he thought Mystic Dan was the better horse in the workout, and that was somewhat of a surprise, and we thought maybe it was for fitness that she needed the fitness work, but she she came back and she didn't run well, so
Interesting.
yeah. We don't know if that was a kind of a tip that she didn't have quite the fight in her, but it wasn't a workout that we asked her to do anything more than just stay together with him. And,
Got it.
And like I said, Mystic, the notion was that Mystic was more horse in the workout, but he came back and won the next weekend.
Well, and we'll get to Mystic Dan, but so what's it, I guess you guys still have a lot of decisions to make here, but man, she's got a pretty awesome career ahead of her still.
Well,
even if it's not on the racetrack.
the
right?
ownership group. Come here, Sonny. Get over it. The ownership group changed over the summer. I know you just want to just walk around and see everybody.
By the way, if you haven't noticed, Sonny's in the studio with us here.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a nice angle to see.
Relax a little bit.
Yeah.
He's trying to circle behind me here, go see you.
That's right.
And he gets tangled in all
Yeah, I
the
know.
cords,
There's a lot of
and then we
cords
got a
here.
real mess, don't we? I was trying to keep you from doing that. Looks his ear scratched. So the ownership changed over the summer.
Right.
Fine man in John Sakura. Hillendale Farm is a fantastic place for
Yep.
her in the long run.
Yep.
Although I'm not sure where she'll be boarded. I'd love to think that we could board her at Magdalena and continue to show her off to fans.
Right.
Because we are part of the horse country tours. And then John will ultimately decide who she's bred to. There's a small chance she would go through an auction, but it would be because some of the partners might not want to stay as a long-term play.
Got it.
To breed her.
Okay.
I myself want to stay.
Yeah.
Judy Hicks wants to stay. Transitioning her from race mare to brood mare is a whole nother, long process. And hopefully over the next few years, we'll be able to share that with everybody here
Okay.
on the show. But, likelihood is that she'd probably be bred to Curlin, although that's not set in stone, and we'll defer to John on that. And then the good news is that if she were going to, and people don't think about this, especially fans that don't know a lot about racing, is that if you're going to retire a mare, you really want to do it. You really want to do it to give them enough time to heal coming
Sure.
off the racetrack.
Sure.
To let down.
Sure.
Let their body put on weight.
Right.
And then when you breed her, then she's got more energy to give to that foal.
Makes sense.
And so if it's going to happen, let it happen in early October as opposed to February or even March, where where, you know, she's in the middle of her racing career, and then you're trying to transition her quickly from race mare to brood mare.
So there's a whole science to this
He's
thing.
a bear over here.
Yeah, Sonny normally just kind of hangs out, but
nervous energy today.
Sonny wants to play.
But that's so like I said, the timing of this I'm trying to find a positive out of this.
Sure.
The timing could be very good for her next career as a broodmare. So
Okay.
we will give her plenty of time to put on weight, and she can rest and heal and then let down.
Okay.
And relax, and then they got to get her cycling, which will put her under lights. So that her female cycles get in rhythm.
That's crazy.
And then
there's so much to it.
Oh yeah, and then you try to time when she's bred, when she's covered.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother deal too. But she will be doted over in her next career as well.
That's unbelievable. And she's probably going to make quite a bit of money in her next career too, I would assume.
Well, it's a longer process.
Okay.
When you breed a mare, of course, it's 11 months until that foal comes out.
Right.
So it'll be into 2027 before the foal drops.
Got it.
And then you've got another year and a half until that horse's that foal is ready for auction.
Yeah, makes sense.
And what we'll do is, I'm sure we'll probably do a sex test when she's bred, and once we know she's in foal, we'll sex the foal so we know it's a colt or a filly.
Right.
And then we can prepare for when the foal's born, and they have a better idea of what we've got coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a colt out of that mare, I mean, for those, and many of you already know or maybe don't, I bought Curlin as well as a yearling.
That's right.
So I liken it to like. I mean, because their body types are very similar.
Yeah.
And so you're taking two horses' bodies that were very similar, because
Mm-hmm.
I buy a certain hip and angle and shoulder, and they were both a little offset in the left leg.
Right.
Left leg. And we might expect that with the first foal. And but it's exciting. I mean, for probably my best male purchase, Curlin, my best female purchase, Torpedo, and bred together.
Yeah, no telling.
There's a lot of pressure on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on that horse.
Yeah.
Hopefully that horse is fast.
Exactly.
All right. So Mystic Dan won the Lucas Classic. I mean, obviously a great comeback win there. So things are on the right track there.
Yeah, he's just amazing. He loves, as we know, Churchill, but this is a horse that'll win about anywhere, and he is he's doing exceptionally well right now. We're scheduled to point him towards the Breeders' Cup Mile.
Okay.
And Sonny's going to get settled in up front there. We're getting settled in.
So it looks like Sonny's put on some weight.
Oh, nonsense.
Sonny's getting bigger.
I don't know. He's been at the farm a lot this fall. But anyway, but Mystic is very happy right now, and is at Churchill, and we're headed to California with him at some point. We'll work on the logistics of the. He sees a golf ball.
Ah, well, that makes sense.
So Mystic Dan is look, this horse, we started when we brought him back. We had a really rough start back.
I know.
And now he's really gotten it rolling. So it goes like that. And back to Anna, there are those that all don't retire over one race. We need to touch on that.
It starts with a heartbeat and becomes a rush you can't outrun. Classic games, the hottest slots, a floor alive with fun and possibility. And when you need to catch your breath, even more rewards are just around the turn. Become a new Casino Rewards member today for a chance to win $100,000 in free slot play. Fairmont Park Casino and Racing. Unforgettable wins.
Let's talk back to her, and I'm not changing on purpose here.
I gotcha.
But here's the thing. If we were to try to get her back together and try again into the Breeders' Cup, I think that of course, the upside's there, and I do still think she could end up being declared champion holder filly and mare, because she won two grade ones and two grade twos.
Right.
But she's not. You're not gonna get the visit anymore if you keep this up. Go ahead, get it. But if you. But for her to run poorly again is not good.
Yeah.
And we really don't want the notion that it's not about the money at this stage. She's made plenty of money.
Sure.
But for us to get her back together and run her again is, for me, not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, if she went out there and injured herself, or
Yeah.
if she ran another terrible race, I mean, I just think that the perception is not good, and not that we're worried about what people think so much as the right thing to do is to say, okay, she's kind of told us enough.
Sure.
And so that's the decision making there, and
it's the hard decision to make, I would think.
I've seen the movie and I know the ending. I mean, I had Take Charge Lady as a older mare.
Yeah.
She ran into the 4-year-old year, and then I had Swiss Skydiver, and they both subsequently had to be retired, and that's part of it.
No, for sure.
And what you try to do is you try to do it gracefully and try to figure a path that's the right for that particular mare.
Makes sense.
And so I've dealt with it before, and I thought that Take Charge Lady would be the greatest filly I would ever train. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Then it was Swiss Skydiver.
Yeah.
And then now it's her. It's the
and then the next horse, it's coming.
I don't see how in the world I'm going to have a filly better than Thorpedo Anna.
Understood.
How in the world? I mean, I just don't see it. So I've been very blessed.
Yeah. Well, but listen, that's a once in a lifetime horse too, though.
Yeah. But back to Dan. So Dan will be locked and loaded for the Breeders' Cup Mile. He's got a stud deal in place with Airdrie Stud.
Okay.
And I know you're worried about him running right into all that
stuff.
It's okay. Tipping it all over. He is a real booger today, isn't he? There you go. Settle in. So sorry, gang. It was
all good.
Got a happy dog.
Hey, well, it's the most playful we've seen Sonny. It's a good thing.
He saw the balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. And otherwise, the stable's on a little bit of a bad start.
I was gonna say it's.
Yeah, but it goes like that. So it's this cycle. So we've had a great spring. We had a great summer. We won a lot of races. And what happens is you've got to raise those horses in conditions, or you've got to go from maidens to never won twos.
Right.
But we've run well in the grade ones. We were second in the Futurity with Blackout Time, a really serious horse.
Yep.
We were third in the Alcibiades, fourth in the Alcibiades.
Right.
Anna bad fourth in the Spinster is a heavy favorite, but that's the cycle of it, and you have to deal with that. And then I see us cycling. We're gonna have a good fall ultimately. You just got to get through. Yesterday I think I ran 5 of the slowest horses that I trained yesterday.
5 of the slowest.
Oh my God! I mean, I had one horse that's probably the best bred horse I've ever trained, and he can't run.
They make your heart race, they make your heart break, then they do it all over again. At Hallway Feeds, we're devoted to improving nutrition for these beautiful, exhilarating creatures. Watching them at their peak is an experience like no other, which is why we say, when you feed Hallway, the race is in the bag.
All right, so Kenny, to wrap up on Mystic Dan, what do you think's next for him?
Well, Breeders' Cup Mile is a no-brainer next. I mean, I think
I was going to ask about the mile because that seems like that's the right distance.
Well, that distance is a little tricky, but at the same time, it's a race that's a stallion maker.
Yeah,
and that's really where we're headed next with him. And I think the mile's ideal. He's been invited to Japan.
Okay.
For their Champions Cup and also for the Japan Cup. And those are two massive races.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the Japan Cup, the timing's a little tricky because one of them's, Blackout Time runs on the 29th of November if everything goes right, and Mystic Dan would run on the 30th of November, but there's also one, I believe the 6th or the 7th of December in outside Tokyo. So that's a race that we may go for before he goes off to stud. So we're kind of contemplating.
The Japanese love horse racing.
Yeah.
So that's a tough travel, though, right?
It shouldn't be too bad for him. I mean, you believe the travel's probably not as difficult as you might think.
Okay.
Yeah. But we're going to contemplate that. But he's been nominated to those races, and he's with their people fishing around about maybe Saudi Cup. But I think we'll just have to see how that unfolds.
You mentioned Blackout Time. I think his last race was kind of disappointing, but
no.
All right.
No, he ran fantastic. I mean, second in the grade 1, third career start.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, so listen, I know he was kind of Derby Trail.
He still is.
All right. I love it.
The horse that beat him is probably the best 2-year-old in the nation right now.
There you go.
Ned Toffee. or Ted Noffey.
Whatever that is. Yeah. Okay. All right.
But no, I don't think. I think there's no disgrace in the way he ran at
Love
all.
it.
I think the Futurity is a really good race, and the path on him's kind of up in the air right now in the sense that we might go Breeders' Cup Juvenile. We may skip it. We may wait for the Kentucky Jockey Club here at Churchill,
Yep.
and we avoid the travel and all the things that go with going out and back. And then we also have Universe, who was third in the Champagne recently, is a horse that I'd like to get to 2 turns, and that's a horse with a lot of high level talent too. And then we've still got a group in New York, although I'm going to bring some horses down for the remainder of the fall here, and then migrate them back up to New York
Okay.
a little bit later in the fall,
Awesome.
late fall.
All right. So listen, Kenny, you've talked ever since we've started this podcast, you've talked about how good of a crop of young horses you have. Those horses are starting to get a little bit older now. I know you got a ton of 2-year-olds, ton of good 2-year-old stakes coming up. Any light you can shed on those horses?
Well, I guess we could go fillies first. I mean, the best filly we have is Taken by the Wind, who won the Pocahontas handily.
Now, isn't there something going on?
Well, I mean, the Kentucky State veterinarians don't like the way she moves, and we're just scratching her head. She had 2 races. We ultimately did a bone scan on her and found that she's got a little uptake in her ankles, but she's a filly in training and she's growing. But she's been X-rayed 4 times. There's nothing there. Very unusual. So it's frustrating dealing with sometimes the bureaucracy of these state vets, because they think they're saving the game, but we know our horses.
Absolutely.
We don't have a history of horses breaking down regularly.
Sure.
It does happen to the best of us. But, in her case, I mean, it cost her an opportunity to run in the Grade 1 Alcibiades. It may cost her an opportunity to run in the Breeders' Cup. So we're dealing with that. I mean, we've got her at Churchill. She galloped today. She gallops perfect. She moves the same as she's ever moved. But, I think they get caught up in a little bit of analysis paralysis. Mm-hmm. And the way she's made, she kind of curls in a little bit with her left foot. Mm-hmm. And she's a little offset in her knee, and she carries her head high. For me, we know her, and I mean, she won so easily last time.
Right.
I've never had a horse put on the vets list off a graded win in my life, and nobody out there can find that horse that was ever put on a vets list after a graded.
Is there something political to that?
I don't know. I mean, frustrating. I mean, they think that they're doing their job, but why can't we at least get her out of the race and let us have a chance to evaluate her?
Amen.
And isn't that our job?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, so and there's some things going on with the state vet rules that frustrate me, and I'll share them with you. They draw blood after we work horses. Well, every horse they have a choice. They can put them on a 7-day list, which is kind of a questionable list, and we'll look at the horse next time it's entered. And that horse can be entered back in 7 days and work back in 7 days without going through a lot of bureaucratic hoops.
Makes sense.
And then it gives the state a chance to look at the horse again after it's re-entered again. No problem. And then everybody's got to, pay attention to those kind. And then in Kentucky, they tend to always use this 14-day rule, which really drags the whole process out.
Sure.
It costs owners a fortune.
Sure.
I mean, so you come back, you can't work for 14 days. Not only that, they're not coming to see the horses on the 14th day or 15th day.
So they got to wait until after
you got to
14
wait
days.
until the state vet comes.
Wow.
Then they're drawing blood, and this is another bone of contention I have. They're drawing blood off the workout to test to see if we gave the horse something illicit,
Okay.
which nobody ever gets fined or suspended for.
Sure.
I mean, and that cost owners another week to 10 days.
Yeah.
And that cost them, it's at $100 a day, $125
Amen.
a day.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
Sure.
That's another $1,000 plus.
All adds
just
up.
waiting on the blood work.
Yep.
So I really want to see him eliminate this blood work and say, okay, take the blood, but if it comes back positive, I mean, and 99.9 aren't, then okay, if it comes back positive, then have some sort of strong fine, or if the horses run during that period, then loss of purse, whatever it might be. But don't penalize the owners and the trainers to enter a horse back because you're waiting on blood work.
Yep.
I mean, it's just another bureaucratic layer
Yeah.
to keep horses from running. And I think that the whole system there needs some reanalyzing. And then why is it that one veterinarian's opinion is the ultimate decider? Why isn't there 2 or 3 that look at a
Sure.
horse together independently?
Sure.
Don't let them commingle together and make a decision.
Yeah.
Say
Different opinions.
Exactly, with clear minds.
Yeah.
All right, because I've had 3 that say she's fine and a bone scan that says she's fine, but yet one state vet says, "Oh, I don't like the way she moves." Well, I can't change the way that her legs are, but I don't know. This is a real issue in the state of Kentucky.
Frustrating.
Well, and I've got one client who got out of the game over it.
Wow.
Scott Leeds. That went from 35 horses. He's down to 1, and that one's being sold soon.
Wow.
He's getting out. So we don't need to be losing clients and
quality owners
because of a bunch of bureaucracy.
That stinks.
And the horses that he had scratched, we're back into the races, and we have to take them to other states.
Right.
I mean, it's a I don't know. I could bring a list of trainers on here that would be howling.
Oh, I'm sure
about it.
I'm sure.
I
don't know. I don't know that trainers are as open as you are about these type of things, Kenny. But it sounds like there's something that needs to be done.
Well, it's it's kind of a new system. The notion that they're doing things positive, I think they in a way, I think they had a period where they lowered the breakdown rate, but it's also recently risen back up.
Yep.
And I think they're even going even further overboard.
Yeah.
To try to keep it lower. It's not going to be 0. Horses get injured, and it's the saddest part of our game. But nobody is more motivated to keep a horse from getting injured than the trainer and the owner.
Amen.
We don't want that happening.
No.
Ever.
Well, I mean, look at football. Guys get injured. It's part of it. You're not shutting the game down on that. I mean,
this is true.
It's part of sports.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, that's sad.
But back to the 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
Well, Go-To Girl, good filly, just 4th in the Alcibiades.
Okay.
The Grumpy Rabbit.
I love that
Great name, yeah.
I love that name.
Yeah, that one, she was just 3rd in the Grade 1 in the Alcibiades. We've got Miss Call running in the stake race in Delaware this week.
Yep.
And that race is a race that I'd like to see her win a stake. I think that's a very good filly who's going to like the dirt a lot. We've got.
You like her chances in that one?
Yeah, I mean, she should be able to win that.
Okay.
I scratched her out of the stake at Belmont, the Miss Grillo, because I thought that was a little too tough for her, and I really want to run her on the dirt, so she's going to get a chance to do that.
Got it.
And then we've got a list of other ones that we haven't run yet. Holly's Holiday is going to run this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll like her.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a playable horse.
Okay.
Maximum Offer, another one we're pretty fond of.
Okay. A lot of young horses.
A bunch of maidens that haven't run yet.
Yeah, okay.
For those that did the math, Mystic Dan and Thorpedo Anna didn't make their first starts until October.
That's right.
Now,
but you've been pretty open that hey, you like their maiden races. You're not necessarily going to push them in that. You like to get some dirt in the face.
9 first-time starters this year win.
Okay.
With over,
which is uncommon for you though, right?
Yeah, but over 22-year-old winners. So, we're fortunate that the quality of horses is there, and it's actually getting better since Torpedo and Mystic Dan really shined a light on us. But
sure.
But yeah, I mean, and then we've already done yearling sales. We're down to the last yearling sale this year. A year ago, I was off to England and worked the Tattersalls sale.
That's right.
This year, I'm not going.
Okay.
Really would prefer to kind of focus in on the U.S. markets.
Is the tariffs, is all that part of it, or? Yeah.
No doubt. The tariff.
I figured. It's tough to import anything now.
I bought 3 in France, and we moved them to England, and they're going to be imported from England. But it's a problem. That tariff's not falling on anybody but Americans.
It is a problem, and I'm curious of your point on this. I have a good friend that's in the bourbon industry, and he tells me that the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, which is huge for our Kentucky area, is down 1 million visitors. And the reason being is international travelers are not coming to the States anymore. Yeah.
Well, this is forcing us to probably focus more on the U.S. horses, but I already did that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I already did that. But when those horses don't come out of Europe to us, and there are other Americans that are over there buying in Tattersalls right now, and bought in France, and will buy in Ireland, and maybe they bring those horses to the U.S. or maybe they leave them over there. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, trade wars and tariffs and all that stuff, it's a new one for me, but it is affecting our decision making. And I'm going to focus in on the Fasig-Tipton yearling sale, which starts on the 20th.
So our listeners got a deep dive into Fasig-Tipton. We had a great guest on that kind of laid it all out, and it was fantastic. I think our listeners loved it. So we're excited about the upcoming Fasig-Tipton sale. And Boyd was fantastic.
Did he come here?
No, we did it via Zoom.
Oh, good.
But Boyd was awesome.
Yeah.
Did a really good job.
He's one of the best racing executives or sales executives in the world.
Yeah, he obviously thinks very highly of you, and Boyd was, fantastic.
Yeah, good. I didn't realize he was on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Fasig sale's the last sale of the season. They sell on the 20th to the 23rd, and we'll be buying a group of horses there. I usually buy anywhere from 10 to 15. We'll see. I think there's going to be 1,600 in that sale.
How are your owners? Are your owners ready to rock and roll? Do you have the pocketbooks that you're ready to go buy the right horses?
Well, at the Keeneland sale, I bought 40 and had people that got left out.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the market was exceptionally strong, and we've got more people that we're looking for. I don't know. I mean, the hard part is having enough horses to purchase that keeps. I don't want to just buy a horse to buy a horse.
Sure.
But this Fasig sale coming up is where I bought Thorpedo Anna.
Yeah.
And a long list of other very, very good horses. But it's an ideal sale for me, and there's the numbers there. It'll be about a 4% stakes winner sale.
Got it.
And so out of 1,600, you can do that quick math.
How do you? That's just from history.
Yeah.
It's hard to put a number on that because I would say that has to fluctuate on talent and everything else.
Well, it fluctuates, but that just tells you that, like if there's 1,600 horses, there's 56 stakes winners.
Right.
I mean, or in theory. I mean, so what we do is we call it down into those numbers, and then we wait for the one that we think is the value. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to pay a little bit more for the ones you want, and sometimes you get them for the right price. But that's the challenge of what we do, and we'll continue to, I'll probably, best guess, I'll grab 15 out of there. I mean, I don't know, and it'll depend on how everything plays out.
We had a listener ask this question after Boyd's interview, and maybe you can shed some light on this. How does Fasig get the horses that they get? Do they have partnerships with breeders, tracks? Where do they get their crop of horses?
Well, breeders.
So they have relationship with certain breeders.
Well, they have relations with all of them. Yeah, I mean, and so does Keeneland. But that sale as a late in the season sale is ideal for horses that are late maturing.
Got it.
That maybe they didn't get sold in the July sale or the August sale, so they'll slide them to October. Some horses come out of the Keeneland September sale and get moved to the October sale. It gives them time to catalog, and then it's the last place to offer your yearling.
Makes sense.
Until you get to the 2-year-old and training sales, which I avoid.
Yeah,
I'm not a 2-year-old and training guy. I really am glad that I don't have to deal with that.
Right.
I think they have to set a timeline to breeze that horse in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I think sometimes those timelines are forced.
Yeah. No, makes sense. So that's a good hit. What about the on the male side of the 2-year-olds? Is there anybody we need to be looking at?
Well,
Blackout
Time, definitely the star.
Yep.
Universe in the realm there. A list of other ones that hadn't run yet. Liberty National, Mimicry is a horse we like. We've got horse named Grand Slam Sam we like. I could give you several others. But that's that's all a process, and they're all kind of coming together. Mm-hmm. But I see us participating in the Triple Crown Trail to some extent before the end of the year. Certainly next winter and spring.
Yep.
We're going to have some horses competing in those high level races, and that's really where our program's pointed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about Blackout Time specifically. You mentioned that may run again on November 29th. Is that maybe where you're pointing for the next race?
Well, he's going to be nominated to the Street Sense, which is October 26th. Mm-hmm. But we're probably that's a lean against because it would be back in 22 days. And if he didn't go to the Street Sense, then there's an off chance he goes to Breeders' Cup.
Right.
Because him and Universe are both going to be contemplating entering. We have to enter by the 20th of October, so we've got a little more than 10 days, and that's a tough call because you've got expenses to go out and back, and probably more inclined to keep both horses local. But spoke to Lance Gasaway yesterday, who's partner on Blackout, and he's noticing that it's not going to be a very big field. And there's 2 million reasons to go. Yep. And if the horse is doing as well as he looked this morning when I watched him, I mean it's not a terrible idea. But he'll have to hook horns again with Ted Nafi. Gotcha. And so that's going to be the horse to beat. But whoever wins that race is champion 2-year-old. Right. Yeah. And so for him to be champion 2-year-old really does say, as a stallion, it's massive. Well, that sets the pace for the Derby. Yeah, well, but champion 2-year-old, I mean, Blackout Time's got the pedigree to go to stud. Yeah. Matter of fact, he's going to go to stud. Okay. Yeah. But if he wins the juvenile, he's going to go to stud for a lot of money. Got it. Yeah. Big money. Let's talk Brian Hernandez. Obviously a scary spill. Could have been worse. I think he's probably lucky to be where he's at, but can you give us an update on Brian? He's doing good. He came to the races this past weekend and looked like he was doing fine. He's got some plates in his ribs, so he's been dealing with that, and I think he's got some healing, but I think he's going to be back quicker than people anticipated. And look, I think we're very lucky that Brian didn't have, head injury or spinal injury or, no broken limbs, thank goodness. But, he took a hard fall and the horse stepped on him. Yeah. And so that was really, a close call. But he's tough. Yeah. And really tougher than I'd ever be doing something like that. But he's he looked good, and he's in good spirits, and a lot of people, well wishes. Oh yeah, came our way. I'm sure. And but he's out and about, enjoying some time with his family. How's it affected the barn? Well, we miss him a lot because he's our go-to rider. I mean, so many horses that he's ridden, we depend on him knowing him. So we've had to dish out a lot of the mounts to other riders, and fortunately, Flavian Pratt, Irad Ortiz, Jose Ortiz. I've let Manny Esquivel ride quite a few because Manny has been rock solid work ethic this summer and won a lot of races for us this summer, and at Oaklawn, a guy that I've been pretty highly impressed by. But when Brian gets back, Brian will be our go-to guy, and I think he's hoping to be back for Breeders' Cup, but I think it might be pushing it. Yeah. But worst case, I think he's back for the Churchill meet for the fall. Good. We had a great interview with Jose Ortiz. People loved it. I mean, he did a great job. Very personal, very open. Great. That was couldn't get Irad that up. Well, it was just Jose that day. For whatever reason, it didn't work out for the both of them. But we'll get you Irad. Yeah, Irad would be a good one too. I think people ought to send in who they want. Oh, they had a lot of people. I don't want to dominate things here. I think we've done a good job kicking it off. Yeah, for sure. And I actually would love to participate with some of them, but I think trainers like Brendan Walsh, and you'd have a long list of guys that would be great interviews. Yeah. That are like. Don't think I'm the only talented trainer out there. There's some really talented. Well, Baffert's the name that keeps coming up. People would love to see Baffert. I'll get Bob. That would those two would be fantastic. I can get Bob to do it. So a really cool story. There's a guy that came up to me, had not met him. His kids go to St. Edward. Saw him at a volleyball match. His name Michael Barnes with TK Racing. They got started because of this podcast. Really? Started a racing group, very small outfit. Came up, introduced himself. Wanted to send on, his thank yous to you and everything. It really got him going by listening to everything you had to say. Nice. I reached out to him this morning and asked if he had any sort of questions, told him you'd be on air, and so here's what he sent me. Conditions, Kenny, conditions. To find the difference in levels of racing. We know you guys have covered that in earlier podcasts, but understand what a starter allowance is over an allowance and a starter optional claimer based on the restrictions as far as price. It's difficult for new owners to understand. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a learning curve to all that. Yeah, and how the condition of the race is written is very important to the trainer, because then you're trying to pick the correct spot for a horse.
Okay.
And so when you do that, there's an old saying: keep yourself in good company and your horses in bad. And so when you read the condition book, it's vital that you read it where your horse fits against the easiest company possible. So like he's talking about, if a horse runs in a maiden claimer or claimer, then he becomes eligible for the starter allowances.
Right.
Starter allowance means that a horse that's started for example, 30,000 or less and has never won 3, then if your horse has won twice and run once for 30,000, then he's eligible for that race. Mm-hmm. And so yesterday I ran a horse named Look to the Cross, who had won the Never Won 2 for 30,000, was eligible for the starter and never won 3. He didn't run well yesterday. For that matter, the step up actually was much more difficult than I anticipated.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go back in next time, and I'm going to run him for 20,000, never won 3.
Okay.
So I go back to a claiming race, where the starter race is not a claiming race. It's a restricted. It restricts people from claiming that horse.
Got it.
Now, when you talk about allowance races, they'll write an allowance race. So if you've won your maiden, then you go to what they call a Never Won 2 allowance race.
Right.
Or you go to an A other than, which means, for example, 3-year-olds and up which have never won a race other than maiden, claiming, optional, or starter.
Okay.
And so that verbiage is added in there, and you have to read through what that verbiage says to find out whether your horse is eligible for that race or not. Now, a Never Won 2 and an A other than, a race other than maiden, claiming, optional, or starter,
right,
is in theory the same race.
Okay.
Except a horse could won if a Never Won 2, but let's say the horse won a Never Won 2 for 30 claiming or 50 claiming, then he's eligible for the A other than, maiden, claiming, optional, or starter.
Got it.
All right? So it's a little tricky.
Yep.
Good, smart racing secretaries know how to add in
Yeah.
horses.
Yeah.
So then when you go to 2 other than, maiden, claiming, optional, or starter, or state bred,
Yeah.
they'll add another little.
Oh my goodness.
You got to think about.
My head's spinning here, Kenny. I'm trying to follow.
Well, if it's or state bred, like for example, we've got Under the Palms, a mare that we like, but she won a restricted state bred stake, so she's still eligible for the A other than.
Got it.
But in Kentucky, they don't write the A other than, maiden, claiming, optional, or starter, or state bred. But at Oaklawn Park, they do.
Oh my
they
goodness.
add the state bred.
Okay.
So the motivation is to get her to Oaklawn because she's eligible because they add
Because it's
or
state
bred.
Okay.
But when you go to 2 other than,
Yep.
they'll write horses which have not 2 races other than maiden, claiming, optional, starter, or state bred, or 50,000 claiming.
Okay.
So you can run for the 50,000 claiming and be eligible to run in that race. But if you don't want to run for the claiming price, you have to fulfill those other. Will have not have won twice other than maiden, claiming, optional, starter, or state bred.
Sounds like mad science here, Kenny.
Well, once you learn it, you learn it.
Okay.
All right, and if you're handicapping out there, you guys are handicap races. Read that. Read the first thing you do when you handicap a race. Read the conditions of the race. And sometimes even the racing office will miss it. Sometimes a horse gets entered and they're not even eligible. It's
Interesting.
rare, and somebody gets spanked for that.
I bet. Sure.
But it's ultimately the trainer's responsibility to make sure that he enters in a race that his horse is actually eligible in.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a little tricky. But once you learn, and the thing to do, wow, interestingly enough, I have.
Hey, you have a conditions book with you.
Book.
There you go.
And this just came out, or just was handed to me today. It's online sooner than it is, and then inside here is what they call the index. Can you zoom in on that, Laura?
We can get it
Give me a little zoom
Kinda.
there, can you? The index.
right here.
Well, nope, we're over here. That's okay.
Yeah, that's just, you could probably zoom in on that some.
So I want you to go to Equibase. Like,
Yeah, that's about much.
this is the index.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see that there.
Well, you can get a gist of it. 2-year-olds, 2-year-old fillies, 3-year-olds, 3-year-old fillies, 3-year-olds and up, fillies and mares 3 and up. So when you learn to read this, and then this just helps you jump to the race that you're trying to find.
Yep.
And then so what in my head, I already have in my head what my horse's conditions are. And then when we talk about a horse, then I know where to look in the book. If I'm looking at a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 3-year-old and up, then I know where to go. And then this column right here is probably the most complicated column, and that is the older horse conditions. So it starts in stakes, claiming crown, allowance, open, 3 other than, 2 other than, 1 other than, or that's the A race other than, and then it works its way all the way down in claiming numbers down to auction maiden horses. And so so all this is it's a trainers that are really smart, and a lot of really smart guys in the game
Sure.
read this well.
Okay.
And then once you've found the index on the race date, then you simply go to whatever the date, and then you look at you have to read the verbiage, and sometimes it's quite complicated. Here's an interesting one: fillies and mares 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 18,000 3 times other than maiden, claiming, starter, restricted, or state bred, or which have not won a race other than maiden, claiming, starter, restricted, or state bred since December 25th, or claiming price 100,000. 7
Lord.
furlongs.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's basically an open allowance race.
Right. I was
Like
gonna
Swiss
say.
skydivers eligible
Yeah,
for this
right.
race. I mean, of course, you'd have to bring her well out of retirement.
Right.
But if you had a Colts version, which is the next day, Secretariat's eligible for that race.
Got it.
Because he's not won a race other than maiden, claiming, starter, restricted since December 25th.
Got it.
So yeah, there's some interesting reading on all this. Here's one: 2-year-olds, which have never won a race other than maiden, claiming, starter, or state bred, or which have never won 2 races or claiming 100,000.
So if you're a small ownership group like Michael Barnes and TK Racing, how do you decide where your horse fits?
Leave the trainer to it.
Just let the trainer do it.
Leave him alone. Owners do not need condition book. Owners do not hold a condition book. Ask your trainer to carry the condition book. Now you can, question where are we going to go, and it's good for an owner to understand the conditions, but really you should not have to worry about a trainer hitting the right condition.
Looks like they're using Jordan Blair. I don't know if you know
Jordan
that name.
came up under me.
Okay, well there you go.
He knows what he's doing.
All
I
right.
don't need to tell Jordan what to do.
So they just let Jordan do his
No,
thing.
most trainers that even get stalls at Churchill Downs know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't get stalls back there by being no good. So yeah, let your trainer read the condition book.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Sometimes young horses are so impressive that you might jump right from the maiden race into a stake. That's what we did with Blackout Time.
Mm-hmm.
He went from maiden to grade 1 because we feel like he's that kind of horse. But also sometimes those never won 2 races never fill.
Yeah.
They won't get enough horses to fill them. If the race doesn't fill, then why not try grade 1?
Yeah.
We went from Universe, broke his maiden at Saratoga, went straight to grade 1, ran 3rd. I mean, don't be scared. But 3-year-olds and up, that's another deal.
Yeah.
Because the water, the depth of the water is much deeper with the 3-year-olds and the 3-year-olds and up coming off a maiden win, because there's a whole group of horses that have already jumped through some lower level or some conditions, never won 2, never won 3.
Right.
And they've already risen their way up.
Right.
And you're better off being more conservative with an older horse than you are a younger horse.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but let your trainer read the condition book. Educate yourself. Understand when you're looking at a condition, when you're reading the conditions of the race he's chosen.
You know what you're getting into.
That understand it, and ask your trainer their mindset or what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And let them do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say that if your trainer's running a horse that's only won once in a never won 3 race, is it a fireable offense? If the never won 2 went, maybe.
Got it.
But you don't run a horse out of condition unless you have to. When I say out of condition, you're running in the wrong race.
Okay.
Yeah, and good handicappers see that.
Sure.
They know. So
Good stuff, man. Wow. We just masterclass there, Kenny. That was awesome. All right. Well, I feel like that's enough for today. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
yeah, it's been a great run with Thorpedo Anna.
I know.
Been amazing.
I know.
No regrets whatsoever. I think 12 wins and 16 starts, and she's just been probably the most amazing ride ever. We're going to relish that forever and ever. And, the expectation to get another one like hers, it's going to take years.
Yep.
But it's been great, and we're gonna for those out there that are worried about her, don't worry about her. She's gonna be happy. I'm hopeful that we're gonna be able to show her off at Magdalena for.
Is that where she's going to live for the time being?
Well, we need to talk to John Sakura about that, and John ultimately manages her broodmare career. I know that she's been at home at Magdalena for a long time, and we've got a good spot there, but it's up to him. If he wants her at Hillendale, that's where she'll go.
Got it.
And we'll lean on him on that. But hey, we did raise a Derby winner over there in Mystic Dan, so I don't know if John's done that yet. So
Amen.
we've got to stall for.
You can poke him a little bit on that one.
We got to stall for if he wants us, because we're going to love on her. Matter of fact, I'll do it for free, John. Don't you worry about it. I'm not worried about even billing you. We just would be happy to have her around every day.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Pretty cool. All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this edition of Horse Races Now. Kenny, it's so good to have you back in studio.
You're welcome. I didn't raise my fee or anything.
I know.
We'll get some good people on here.
I love it.
I'm going to reach out to Baffert. I'll reach out to Todd. We'll see if we can get them to peel off a half an hour of their time. And next time, Sonny will act a little bit better. I don't know what that was
We had
about.
to put Sonny in the car.
I need to take him to the park.
Yeah, Sonny needs to be out
Yeah,
to
he was at the barn this morning. But I guess he didn't get enough steam let off. I kept him on the leash.
All right, everybody. See you at the races.
See you at the races.
Horse Races Now, the app to follow horse racing at over 1,200 tracks worldwide. View entries and results. Get notifications on your favorite horses, jockeys, trainers, racetracks, and owners. Users set up and revise notifications like live video at the gate, call to post, entries, results replays, etc.